This was one of the greatest qualifying performances that I've ever seen. Their average placement was 8.2, and just look at this match history. They had one game, and other than that, finished within the top 5. That is ridiculous, and let's see how exactly they did it. Every single game were uncontested, had no issues besides game 1. We're not really going to look into that because it was more of a rotating issue and a poor zone rather than anything else. So we're going to look at every single end game, and I'm going to show you guys how these guys were so consistent. So here's game 2. They start like slowly rising and going up and up and getting themselves 2-second height, and then eventually they're going to look to take it. So we're going to see, we see Jamper going for high ground here, and the team above him doesn't really have too much of a hope to hold it. Duke is coming from the other side, and it's really 2v1 at this point because they've knocked this other player. And then Duke and Jamper have secured the high ground. Not only have they secured it, they're actually going to chase that second player to try and get the full elim. And then boom, now fully secured the high ground. It's a beautiful high ground play, and let's go ahead and watch it again. All right, watching this back again, we see Duke and Jamper right down here. They're going to start to look up, and we see no one is actually on the high ground. So these guys are landing on the backside of height. Jamper is going to identify this and is like, oh, dude, it's literally a single player on high ground. Gonna go look for a play. Duke is gonna go on the backside. Jamper also continuing to push. Stretching commandment, hurting both teams just a little bit. And then Haji comes up, helps his teammate, but it's too late. He's already knocked. And Duke and Jamper have easily secured the high ground, and this is where they're just going to play it out from here on out. Game number 3 for Duke and Jamper is a little less about like crazy specific high ground plays. It's more just about them proving they can play any layer with anyone at any time. So this mid-ground play from them is really important to see a team be able to do this, because all right, awesome, you can play high ground, but being able to play a mid-ground layer and do so consistently and get a top 5 out of it is really important. So we see them get an elim, and right there they don't chase, which is vital, because a lot of teams will chase after an elim to try and get the refresh, but these guys don't necessarily need it. Boom, another refresh walks right into their face. They don't chase it again. A lot of teams, once again, will chase this, but no, it winds up coming right back to them. So the patience, the understanding of how the game is played, and not being too desperate for a refresh allows them to actually get that refresh in the long term. Nonetheless, Jamper's going to go down. We will see Duke clutch up for a few more placement points, but I just wanted to show you guys that they also can play mid-ground, not just play high ground, and that is what separated this team during the qualifier. Game 4 is pretty interesting because it's one of the worst zones I've ever seen, and we're going to see Jamper and Duke decide to go a little late, but ultimately their goal is to take this hill to give them the natural high ground position. Then they're going to take this and then go ahead and play the actual high ground. So once they establish high ground, they're up above and they're in a really good spot. Dukes and Jamper have absolutely claimed high ground, and once again they're up above and just going to rain down fire on the teams down below them. It is not fair, but ultimately they are going to get high ground taken from them in 8th or 9th zone, and it just really becomes a consistent piece of their game where they're just always on high ground during this qualifier. Game 5, these guys just decide, hey, 5th zone, I'm going to play height. And it just is their zone. They're going to take over. It's actually a really easy position to have. And for most teams, I would say this is way too early to have high ground because you don't have enough mats. You don't have enough ammo to sustain. We even see the ammo on Duke. Definitely not enough, but what they're going to do is use this to find a launch pad and then go ahead and use that launch to then put them on the front side of the zone. This is really important. So what a lot of teams do, and this is what you've kind of been trained to do if you knew what you were doing, was play higher in 5th zone to reuse a launch pad. So we do see that's exactly what they're going to do here. But ultimately, they're like, whoa, no one actually landed on high ground after we gave it up. Why don't we just go ahead and grab high ground again? And they do exactly that. Duke and high ground and Jamper up here chilling. And once again, they're on the high ground position. So this is just really good awareness. They're always looking to play the high ground. And granted, during this qualifier, a lot of the top quote-unquote high ground teams have already qualified. DJ and Yamzo, and we can talk about Adrish Kanata. Nonetheless, it's still impressive because other teams are definitely trying to play the high ground during this, but these guys are just the best at it, and we can see every single game they're looking to make a play here, and it works out more often than not, and that's why they're able to qualify, and not only qualify, but do so incredibly with so many points. So once again, these guys decide, whatever, fit zone, we can just play high ground, what does it matter? Zone pulls right in their favor, so boom. Heck yeah, they're able to get high ground once again. And not only are they going to get high ground, but they're going to push over to the other high ground team that was even closer to zone, just slightly, and say, what's up, guys? Like, this is our high ground now. This is just the pure confidence that these guys had, and especially in the last game, like, they know they've already qualified, so everyone else is playing scared. These guys are loose and free, and they're just taking this game by the balls, and honestly, I'm loving it. So, if you guys are still here, I appreciate you. This is for the real ones watching until the end of the video. I'm going to break it down more. And once again, we see them reusing pads. This is really common. This is why you want the high ground in 5th, 6th, 7th zone so that you can see and reuse pads. You can even use this when you're not up on height. You can be like 2nd, 3rd height and just reuse launch pads. They're that strong. It is that important to save all those materials. And we see these guys, that is a key piece of their game. One thing that I've found from watching these two is that they play split more than most duos that I've seen. So like a Hen and Queasy, DJ and Yamzo, like they're playing really close together, but it almost seems like Duke and Jamper are more split than most duos while playing high ground. I don't think this will work in like an aggressive high ground lobby that we'll see in the finals, but it does work here when they've essentially pushed everyone off high ground and they're just taking whatever they want. And then it's just 2nd height, Jamper's connecting, Duke is putting on pressure, they're making sure anyone that is on 2nd height pays the price of being 2nd height, and this is just exactly what you want to do. These guys are able to get some refreshes. This isn't a huge one, but I mean, even if it's just a few materials, that's better than nothing. And then as we go up this hill, we see them look to get even higher. And not only are they going to look to get higher, they're actually going to look to cut some people off. So really solid play from these guys. This lobby is dying out faster than most. And Duke's aim helping him out quite a bit. That's why you train for that. That's why you put in the hours. My man just frying kids with that SMG. But once again, like, I just want to show you guys, this may not seem that split, but in duos, like, seeing these guys this far away on a consistent basis is kind of strange. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I don't know what, like, the right or wrong way is. Nonetheless, like, these guys have perfected high ground in this qualifier. So I can't really say that it's the wrong way to do it, but it's different than most teams. And then we see they're just holding it. The one problem is that lack of SMG here. So Jamper can't really put pressure on. It's really all up to Duke. He's running out of ammo, and then essentially these guys become useless. So once you run out of ammo, you're only so good. This is why you need to get refreshes, and this will help you win the game. But if you're not able to do that, 2nd place, 3rd place, 5th place, still really good. You guys have seen plenty of my videos about how to play and win games on high ground. So we'll leave it at that. I want to thank you guys for watching. Unfortunately, they don't win this one, but nonetheless, still an awesome tournament, awesome game from these two. If you want to learn how to play high ground, watch these guys, watch Queasy, watch DJ and Yamzo. All of them are so good at playing height. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm somebodysgun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.